What is up, guys? We'll see if anybody joins tonight. It's Saturday. It's almost 7:30. We're a little late, but that's all right. And we're trying this again. All right, looks like it worked this time. All right, we tried to stream before, but it didn't really work. So hopefully this one will go through all right. Anyway, if you are catching this live, thank you so much for joining. And if you are catching it on the replay, welcome. I am the Credit Solutionist, and I'm the owner of PX Credit Solutions, where we help you secure your financial future today. Now, in tonight's video, we are going to be talking about the possibility of Joe Biden firing the 3 credit bureaus. I want to give you some of my thoughts about what I think is going to happen and if this is even possible, and why it really doesn't even make sense in the grand scheme of things. And I don't think it's going to go down. We're also going to talk about whether or not this is going to affect the credit repair industry as a whole or the lending industry as a whole. I have a little bit of a different perspective about this because I've been in different parts of the industry. So I'm going to give you some of my perspective tonight to see what you think. Long story short, you could probably click off after you get my input on this. I don't think he's going to fire the 3 bureaus, to be quite honest. There's a main reason that I think this is just a whole lot of hoopla and there's not a whole lot going on here. But I'm going to talk about that towards the end of the broadcast. So anyhow, I want to talk about what this plan is to eliminate the 3 credit bureaus and totally upturn and just flip the credit reporting industry on its head. Now, okay, some of this is just dumb. So I apologize if I am interjecting my emotions here, but some of this is just so stupid. All right. So basically, the plan is being created possibly to create a more fair landscape for people that want to get credit, namely those that are low income or people that are credit invisible, for lack of a better term. So that's the people that maybe you don't have a credit score. Maybe, you are new to credit, or you pay cash for everything and you really just don't have a profile. You have nothing to show that you are a good, responsible borrower. So this plan is supposedly created so we can take credit reporting out of a private industry and make it public. No issues could arise from that, right? Anyway, the first thing they want to do with this plan is, like I said, they want to level the playing field for everybody that's involved. Anybody that's an American citizen and non-citizens as well. They want to create an economically level playing field. The other thing they want to do is they want to eliminate the use of your credit report to determine whether or not you're worthy for other things such as jobs, insurance, whether that's car insurance, health insurance, jobs, security clearances. Like, they don't want any of your credit data or your payment history or any background history about you at all in the financial realm. They don't want any of that to be counted towards your eligibility for things that don't involve credit. Now, I have a very different take on this and a very unique, unpopular opinion about this, because I do think that it actually is a good source. I think knowing how you act financially is actually going to help us have a better picture of who you are personally. Because if you don't pay your bills, I think as your employer, I would like to know that. So that's just my little 2 cents on it. The other thing is, like I said before, they want to make public credit reporting public. So basically, you're in this registry, and this registry reports everything about you credit-wise. I don't know how useful that's going to be. I don't know how accurate that's going to be. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But as I read through it, again, it for me, working in the credit repair industry and having a company, a lot of this just doesn't make sense. And I can still see that there's going to be a lot of room for error here. Now, the other thing that they want to do in pretty much, turning the entire industry on its head is they want to use alternative data to determine your credit worthiness. So they're basically going to say, all right, we don't want to know how you pay bills. We don't want to look at your credit cards. We don't want to look at any of that history. What we want to do is we want to say, okay, if you have rental payment history, we'll use that to determine your credit worthiness. If you have utility bills that you've been paying, they're going to use that in the public registry instead to determine whether or not you are eligible for credit. They're going to use, what else here? Bank account information they want to use. Just pretty much anything that's not related to how responsible you are if someone lends you money. So I'm going to tell you that's already an issue with this new credit reporting system that is proposed by the president, or may be proposed by the president. I want to be clear about that. He hasn't said he's going to do this yet, but when I tell you where this proposal came from, I think it's going to change your attitude about whether or not this guy is going to do it. There's just too many weird factors here, and I don't want to get too conspiracy theory on you, but yeah, anyway. I'm not sure about using this alternative data because I can still see that there's going to be a lot of issues with that, especially with utilities, bank accounts, things like that, because a lot of y'all are flying under the radar. So you're still going to be credit invisible if these are factors that are going to be counted. So in this entire proposal, and I went through the paper, and honestly, there's just too much stuff here. I took some notes, but y'all, it's just too much. What they want to do here, they want to create a system where the borrower benefits the most. I don't know what system on the planet where a person borrows and the borrower is the person that comes out on top. Like when you think about what credit and lending and all of that is, it's based on the premise that you're not going to get the most out of the deal. Whoever you're borrowing from is the person that is going to benefit the most from this. So this is already a backwards idea that they have that's going to be set in place, but I haven't gone too far into it. I was trying to wait for some people to get in here because I didn't want to talk to myself, but sometimes it's like that when you go live. Hey people, I see you here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hey Matt. Hey dude, I still want my pickles and my syrup. You know, I'm actually eating sugar now, so now would be a good time to send that over. You know where to find me. But yeah, social credit score, just like China. You know, Matt, it's funny that you say that because I actually put that in my notes, but I didn't want to go there because they're not ready for that, my friend. They are not ready to hear me talk like that. Anyhow, so I want to kind of go into what this credit scoring situation is going to be, and what it is going to look like. Now, like I said, I took some notes, so you got to forgive me, you guys. And I'm so new to this whole going live thing. So, all right, let's see. I think that before we really go into it, you have to understand how credit reporting works in the first place to understand why it's about to be turned on its head, right? And why Joe Biden is involved in this or will possibly be involved in this. No matter how you feel about the guy, I think at the end of this, you'll kind of understand why I say that I think he's more of a pawn or a puppet in this. I don't think it's something that he really even cares about or truly believes in. So that's why I say for now, it's more of a rumor. But the organization that put this proposal together is probably going to gain a lot of steam in the next couple of years, especially with what they're trying to do here. So the first thing you want to understand is, what is a credit reporting agency and what are they here for? Well, okay, let's just say I'm a bank or a credit card company. I want to know as quickly as possible, if a person is coming into my establishment and they want to get a loan from me, the first thing I need to know is, can this person pay their bills? How long has this person been paying bills? How many bills does this person have? Can they even handle the debt that they're about to take on when I let them borrow this money? Okay, so the credit reporting agency is really just this entity that exists, and they have a relationship with whoever the lender is, where they compile the information about you that is necessary for that lender to determine whether or not you are economically viable, right? So when that happens, it has to be in a condensed form. Okay. So that's why the credit reporting agencies exist. They really just house your information. They give it to the lender in a condensed form, and then that lender makes an informed decision about whether or not you are going to be a responsible purchaser, borrower, whatever, right? And it also, that compiled information also helps them determine, okay, if you are a high credit risk, well, they can still lend to you. They're just going to probably have some different terms. You're going to have to pay a lot more interest. You may have to put a bigger down payment on something like a car or a home or something like that. So when you think about what a credit reporting agency does, a lot of people talk about the big three: Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, like they are the son of Satan, but they're not when you really think about what they do. So they really just help a lender assess the risk in dealing with you. You cannot blame them for that. It's totally okay that they want to know what's going to happen when they jump in to deal with you. So, oh, hi there, Lonell Bivens. I feel like I've seen you on another channel before too. I think you're trying to get this credit game everywhere. That's good. That's good stuff, man. Oh, Shondo, I'm so glad you've been waiting for this live. I was very busy. I'm actually going to be moving very soon. So I've been busy with all that stuff because I got to move around a lot of junk. So yeah, it's been a really busy week for me. I had to push this live back a couple times. Okay, so now that we have an idea of what a credit reporting agency does, you have to understand that these parameters are put in place because nobody has time to interview you personally. I'm not going to take your application for a credit card. And if I want to give you $2,000, I'm not going to call your mom. I'm not going to call the school you attend. I'm not going to call your boyfriend, your ex-boyfriend, your kindergarten teacher to see if you're a good person. I'm just not going to do it because I want to know how you act financially to figure out how I treat you as a borrower or if I even want to deal with you in the first place. Okay. It is your credit reporting agency is basically put together your adult report card. That is what it is. Okay. Now, with all this talk about Joe Biden getting rid of the 3 credit bureaus, for some reason, people have forgotten Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax are not the only companies that exist that report information about you. They're not the only bureaus that exist. And I'm not sure why people don't understand that and let that sink in. If your credit life was dependent upon these 3 bureaus, a lot of you would be in a lot more trouble than you are today. And I'm only talking to the people that have bad credit out there. I'm sorry, I had to single y'all out, but it's really not the big 3 that are determining why you're always getting denied or why you didn't get that job based on your credit. It's not always those 3 bureaus. So I wanted to talk to you about a couple of the other bureaus too, because for some reason, like I said, people just don't understand. Now, some people in the chat, I'm pretty sure, have heard of LexisNexis. Yeah, they're a very big thorn in the credit repair industry side. They not only report credit, like the stuff you see on TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, but they also report public records and personal information. So like any jobs you've had, they're showing up on LexisNexis. And that's jobs that you've had since you started working. Okay. No, they don't just keep, an employer that you had 5 years ago and everything before that doesn't exist. No, they actually look at your entire history. So if you want to see a credit report that's a lot more in depth, go to LexisNexis. Okay. Now you can do security freezes with them and all kinds of stuff. But the issue with that is that there's still certain data that they're able to share from their database to the bureaus and then from their database to anybody else that wants to just pay for the information. So that's something that I think a lot of people don't know about the credit industry. And that's why channels like mine exist. That's why other people out there want to give you this information. And just as a side note, when you sign up for credit repair, like that's part of what you're looking at too. Like the person that's working on your credit is usually having to reach out to the other credit bureaus too. It's not just the big 3. Now, another bureau that you guys, I shouldn't call them bureaus. Let me stop doing that. I'm giving them too much credit. They're credit reporting agencies because they're privately owned for-profit companies, okay? They're not really that important in the grand scheme of things. Now, Innovis is another one. Now, what Innovis does is they basically hold all of the information for your credit accounts and then inquiries. So if you have been denied where you see, okay, I got a bunch of inquiries deleted off of Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, but you're still getting denied on the other side with the creditor because of inquiries, it could be because they're showing up on a report like Innovis, right? It could be anywhere. SageStream, that's another one. That's credit reporting, just like the big 3. Nothing too crazy there. CoreLogic, Some of these really you guys have to just go look up. I'm just giving you the basics of what these companies exist for. CoreLogic is property information. If there's been any liens, judgments, if there's child support, a lot of y'all get caught because your information's in CoreLogic, and CoreLogic then shares that information with the credit bureaus. So it gets listed. Okay. That's only if you're in a situation where you have back child support. Right. And then there is a biggie that a lot of you guys don't know about, but you need to. And that is advanced, I believe it's Advanced Resolution Services, otherwise known as ARS. ARS is a kicker because what it does is it houses all of your medical bills. So if you have medical collections, ARS is where your information gets reported. And that is where these other bureaus or agencies extract information. Okay. So if you see that there's a medical bill on your credit report as a collection, that came from ARS. Okay. And ARS is put to the task of receiving that information from the doctor, whatever medical place you went to, hospital, doesn't matter. They report your collection to those people, and then ARS reports it to the bureaus or agencies. Okay. So I want to make sure that you guys kind of understand. So going back to what Joe Biden is supposedly going to do, I didn't really read anything in this proposal that talks about what he plans to do with the other agencies. Okay. So that's why I don't want people to get like too excited about this, because there's so many people with their hands in the reporting pot, because you need to understand that as a borrower, you are the product. Your data is how these people and these companies make money. There's too much money swirling around here for all of these companies to disappear. That's another promise that's been made by, or let me not get too political here. There are certain administrations that I think are going to be making a lot of empty promises financially to a lot of people that are, oh God, I don't know how to say this, but I feel like people are in a financially desperate situation now, so they'll believe anything that's being told to them. So again, like I said, they can get rid of the big three, but there's like another 100 and something, 200 and something agencies that report your information, right? And y'all are just talking. Well, one person's talking in here. Let me see. All right, let's see. Yeah, honestly, Lionel, you should look into just about everything I'm talking about right now. And let me tell you guys where to find the information on this paper. This is not like a bill or anything official that's going to get put into place, but let me tell you who's actually in charge or who came up with this and all of this stuff that I'm about to talk to you guys about right now. So there is a Democratic think tank, and it's called Demos. That's DEMOS. Look them up online. Read this paper. I think it's about 36 pages or so, and it's easy. It's an easy read. It's like 36 pages, but it's not hard to read. So it goes in depth about their proposal, why they want to do it, and how they plan to get it done. Now, they're a Democratic think tank that was founded by, obviously, a lot of Democrats. Namely, one of the founders is actually Barack Obama. And I was going to say my chat's probably going to light up with that. But yeah, so Barack Obama definitely had a hand in founding this group. And it was basically just created, I think, in the year 2000 to combat all of the conservative think tanks that were coming up at the time from the 1990s. So it was kind of the answer to all of those things that were happening. Now, what Demos does, they're pretty much in line with a lot of Democratic policies and things like that. They definitely, they file lawsuits. They do all kinds of stuff to change and shape and manipulate and mold public policy. That is what these people do. Now, on the outside, it doesn't sound like they have a lot of power, like they can do very much. But as soon as I read that Barack Obama was in cahoots with this, it got me to thinking like, okay, if he had something to do with it, then I do think that Joe Biden is probably going to push for this, because it sounds like Obama started it, and then Joe Biden might be the one to finish it and make sure that it gets done. So once I go into like some of the specifics, you'll kind of see how this has a lot to do with the direction the country's going in. I'll just say that. Let's see here. It's going to be a mess. That's true. It is going to be a mess, Matt. But honestly, I think from what I understand about you and the dream you're living right now, I think you'll be fine. I don't think this is going to hurt you at all. Hi there, True Light. Hey. Hey, Live Life Freely. I hope you're still here. And if you guys are here, if you could do me a favor, like I said, I hear that I'm supposed to tell you to like the stream. I think that's supposed to do something for us and get us out there or something. So let's see. Listen, Freely, you can't be telling them my government name and stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to know all of that. Okay, let's see. Sounds like this was all pre-planned. Absolutely, it was pre-planned. And oh my God, you guys, y'all know me personally, know I like to talk. Okay, so let me just dive into what some of this is going to be. I'm going to be bouncing between my notes and some other stuff here. Now, oh, hey. Oh, never mind. Just kidding, guys. Okay, so let's talk about this leveling the playing field and what that looks like. And actually, before I get into that, let's just talk about what is actually on your credit report. I'm going to start there. I'm sorry, guys. Let's start there. So with credit history, it basically, talks about the behavior of the borrower. So not just that, but there's other things that are talked about here or reported about you. So I can find out if you've been evicted. I can find out about your past jobs, your past addresses. I can find out if there's judgments on you, child support, like we talked about. I know if you have student loan debt. I'll be able to see your criminal history in some cases. And then I can also see if you have filed a bankruptcy, right? Now, part of what Demos is proposing in their paper is they're proposing to get rid of the classic scoring algorithm that we know right now. They want to get rid of that entire system. So the scoring will not go from 300 and something to 850. That's not going to exist anymore. Now, the only problem I see with this is what are they going to do with FICO? FICO has nothing to do with the big three bureaus. Nothing at all. Is FICO just going to disappear off of the planet? Like, no, FICO's been around way too long. There's too many people that are involved in FICO that have power, like real power here. FICO's not going anywhere. The other thing is that there's another scoring model called the Vantage score. I'm sure a lot of you all have heard of that. The Vantage score, here's where it gets really interesting. The Vantage score was created by Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So there's one scoring model that sits independently, which is FICO. And then there's another one that was created by the big three that they're trying to get rid of, which is the Vantage score. Again, I don't see how they're going to eliminate these for-profit companies. It's too big of a beast. Now, again, we talked about how credit scores just measure consumer risk, right? So we want to know payment history, amounts owed, credit inquiries, credit mix, length of history, all that good stuff. All right. So now we'll talk about leveling the playing field and what that looks like according to Demos. The first thing that Demos is talking about is within 7 years, they want to remove all private credit reporting 100%. 100%. So again, if these companies are going to disappear, my question is, where are these people going to go? Okay. Where are all of these employees of these private companies supposed to go? How is this going to affect the relationships that Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion have with lobbyists? Because they didn't get that big just by themselves, and they didn't get that big by not having their hands in some politicians' pockets, okay? Because they dictate so much of whether or not you can get a house, a car, a job, all kinds of stuff, right? How are they going to eliminate those powerhouses in 7 years? Something very weird is going on if that does happen, but anything's possible. I mean, look at how 2020 looked, right? So, all right, they want to eliminate these companies within 7 years, right? And then they're going to go into this public credit reporting registry. So they're going to take credit reporting out of the hands of the private industries, and they're going to put it into the hands of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, also known as the CFPB, right? Again, I don't know what that's going to look like because it just doesn't make sense. So that in this 7-year plan, what they're expecting to do is, I believe they said in the first 4 years, they're going to have all of the credit reporting people, like your credit cards, your banks, whatever. They're going to take all your information that may or may not be correct, and they're going to move it over into the CFPB's system. They propose this system. So they haven't even said what the hell this system's going to be. They haven't even said what it's going to be, but they just said, okay, in 4 years first, we're going to have everybody report all of your accounts to the public registry, right? So then once they do that and they put everything in the public registry for that 4 years, you, the consumer, you don't even really know what's getting put in there unless you ask about it. So that's already a hole in the logic of this paper that I don't agree with. And again, there's nothing that really mentions how they're going to fact check and make sure that the information that gets put from the private industry or the private agencies into the public registry, they haven't explained how they're going to make sure that everything is accurate. So we're still going to be in the same issue that we're in right now. So then within that 7 years, within the 4 years, once this happens, lenders will then have to look at the public registry and the private registry. That's within the 4-year span. So they have to consider you by looking at both, right? And then and if this sounds stupid, guys, it's because it is, okay? It's hard to explain because it's that dumb, okay? So you're basically going to have these two systems, public and private, okay? This is during the transition. And what will happen is you have to be considered by the data that's in the public registry. The creditor cannot say, I won't look at that set of information. They have to look at it, okay? However, they can still, in that 4-year window, decide to look at the private information too. Now, they haven't gone that far into what's going to happen if the information on this side doesn't match what's on this side, public and private. What do we do if they don't match? Can you tell the person no? Can you deny them for credit? Who the hell knows what's going to happen? Again, I mean, this is what happens when think tanks put things together and they want to benefit one side of the population. They're not thinking about everybody. So anyway, at the end of the 7 years, what is going to happen is once everybody gets transitioned into this public system, then that's when they're going to do away with the private companies altogether. What's going to happen to them? Nobody knows. And Demos doesn't care because they really just want everything to be public. So that's what's going on there. Now, when it comes to making credit available based on factors like rental history, bank accounts, utility payments, and things like that, I'm not sure if I mentioned it yet, but the basis of trying to get rid of the private credit reporting is because they're under the impression that people of low income and of certain races are not being treated fairly when it comes to credit and credit issuing, right? So here is a little monkey wrench that I'm going to throw in there. So let's say that they will say, okay, well, instead of using your payment history, we're going to use your rental history, your rental payments. I live in Los Angeles, y'all. I'm going to explain why this is so stupid. And honestly, this is a low income issue, or an issue with low income people, and really just people in general. A lot of people have roommates. A lot of people sublease their places. A lot of people pay cash to rent a room in a house. So if you don't have rental history, you're still not going to benefit from this public registry by having your rental payments reported. You have none. Okay. So when I read that, I thought, okay, that's stupid. You're saying that you want to help Blacks, whites, Latinos, whoever. Actually, they didn't say white people, but they said Blacks and Latinos and low income whites is what they said. That's already insulting in and of itself. Black, whites, and low income white people. That's Demos for you. Anyway, so like I said, when you look at roommate situations, there's usually only one person on the lease and everybody else that lives there pays cash. Those people that pay cash you're still credit invisible. I don't care what you say. It doesn't matter. Okay. You are invisible. So this new plan is not going to help you. Utility bills. Here's the issue there. How many low income people, I don't care what race they are, it's a low income people thing. How many people do you know that because they can't get a utility, they put their child's name on the utility instead? So again, if you're an adult putting your kid's name on your utility bill, you, the adult, are still credit invisible and you don't exist in this new public system that they're going to create. Are you following me here? This is why this is not going to make sense, okay, going in. Now, the other thing they want to count is they want your bank account history to count. If this public registry is made to benefit low-income people, a lot of you guys don't know my background. I have an extensive background with compliance and auditing with HUD housing, subsidized housing, Section 8, and these are, I have worked with multi-million-dollar projects that are receiving Section 8 assistance, okay? It's too much to go into, but one thing I can tell you, low-income people on the whole do not have assets. They don't have bank accounts. Why do you think that there has been a huge influx in things like Cash App, PayPal, all of these debit card assets? They exist because they're these people that don't believe in banks or can't get a bank account. They want to fly under the radar. They use those systems because of that. Low-income people, like I said, again, they don't have assets. I know this for sure. People can argue, they can come at me, they can do what they want. I see the paperwork. I see these people that are low income. It doesn't matter what state they're in. And then you have people that have money, but they don't put it in the bank. They are those people that hide it under the mattress. You're credit invisible because, again, if this public registry is going to be based on bank accounts, you don't exist if you don't have a bank account. Low income people, like I said, don't have bank accounts. How is this proposal going to benefit somebody with low income? It doesn't make sense. So anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. So that's another part of it. Now, income records, exact same thing. If you're low income, you probably are receiving government assistance. You may not have a job, right? So again, I still think there's going to be this section of people that are not going to benefit from this new public registry like they say they're going to. It just doesn't make sense to me from a compliance standpoint. And then, like I said, just from a common sense standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like more people will have access to it, but I still feel like the people they're trying to help are not going to benefit. So I don't know. I mean, and if there's any comments you guys have, the chat I see is kind of going crazy a little bit. But what do you guys think about this? Like, they're trying to say they're going to help you, but not you, but I mean, like the low income, the people that are essentially invisible, they're going to help them by using criteria that those people don't use anyway. So they're still going to be credit invisible. I don't know. I know I keep repeating myself, but I can't understand it. Yes, Matt, that is true. I think Barack is still doing a whole lot of stuff. I really, really do. I don't think he's gone at all. And people can get mad about that all they want. I don't think that that's right either. He needs to go sit down. Like, for real, for real. Oh, wait, what'd you say here? Wait, wait, Matt, is that a question? What did I eat last year on my birthday? I mean, I don't know. Power and money, things that evil people will never have enough of. That is very, very true. You are not kidding, Freely. Like that. That is so true. Dumping physical cash. Are you saying that we should, Matt? Are you saying that we should eliminate physical cash? And then what does he say? Is it me or is there steam? Yeah, this is my thing. What is it called? A humidifier. It's a humidifier. Because if I talk too much, honestly, my throat is wrecked. So, and it's been very windy in LA lately. So it's disgusting. Can companies look at your prior credit reports? That depends on what you mean. Like, if you mean, can they pull up an old credit report? not something that's like 5 or 6 years old, but like I said, if you go to what is it, Sage Stream and like LexisNexis, like I said, they have data on you from the beginning of time. Like that's just how it works, because the credit bureaus are limited to that 7-year situation too. But like I said, if you pull up, like if you pull your LexisNexis report, it's going to be probably 3 times bigger than anything you get from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So when you say companies, it depends on who you're talking about. Do you mean an employer? Do you mean a creditor? Do you mean a bank? What do you mean exactly, the True Light? If you could expound on that a little bit more, like tell me what you mean there. For sure. Sounds like New World Order, maybe a New World Order, one government, one currency, 1984, perhaps. I could see that happening, just based on the fact that they're trying to regulate certain things, and then they want to, kind of have, the government wants to have their hand in private industries as much as possible. So I'm not sure how this plays a part in that, because they're making it so if you make cash payments, you're going to be visible. But like I said, if it's to benefit low income people, that's not possible with this proposal. And like I said, I haven't even gone through a lot of the other stuff that they proposed in here. Because I had, like, honestly, y'all, all the blue notes that I wrote, these are my rebuttals for everything that I saw in the paper. So I'm more of a contrarian in that if you tell me something, I'm going to tell you why it's not possible, or I'm going to tell you why, I shouldn't say why it's not possible, but I'm going to tell you why you need, what other factors to consider. Don't just think because a person tells you something that that's all that there is. You have to look at nuances, and you have to look read between the lines. And that's a big reason credit repair is what it is. It's because you can do disputes all day, every day, right? And essentially, I don't know if you guys saw my last video, but in that video, I talk about the fact that the bureaus are basically paid to house your information. So if I am, or my company is disputing for you to remove that information, I'm essentially removing money out of the credit bureau's pocket. So they're going to do everything they can to say no, and say, no, we're going to keep this information. And at the end of all that, like if we get to a point where it's like, okay, this isn't working, like we're not going to be able to get this stuff off for you. At that point, you then have a nice little file that you can take to a lawyer and get a lawsuit going on. So sorry, that was a little bit of a tangent, but like I said, with what you're saying here, I think that that's possible with the New World Order situation here. Y'all just talking about my Steam? Yep, One World Order at Brandon Hicks. Yep, it's true. Wait a minute, Matt. Are you saying that we're gonna be on like a chow line or something like that? You think that's what's gonna happen? Because I could see it. I could see that happening. As I'm looking around Los Angeles, I will tell you what I'm noticing happening is that I do think if you're of a certain income class, you're getting pushed out of the city. And a lot of people don't believe that. And I will tell you, a lot of people say, like, when Amazon comes to your city, when Tesla comes to your city, when any major industry tech related comes to your city, people get super excited. But what you have to understand is, as a local, that's only going to benefit you if you own something, right? A lot of y'all don't even understand that. Like, it's not going to benefit you because, one, if you don't qualify for those jobs that are coming there, you're still going to be poor. Number two, the rental prices are going to go up because you probably don't own anything in that area. And number three, like I said before, because you're not considering what's really happening, those companies move to your cities so they can prosper. They don't really do it so you can prosper. It's not about you. It's about their company. So when you think about where I used to live and all kinds of stuff, maybe I'll talk about that later. But I could definitely see what Matt's talking about. If that's what you're getting at, Matt, that's for sure going to happen. And we've seen that happen actually in Inglewood. Not that anybody's on a chow line, but I believe it was, what's the one Elon has? SpaceX. SpaceX is now in the community that I grew up very close to. And a lot of people in the city of Inglewood got pushed out because now the rents are just ridiculously high. and nobody can afford anything there. And the people of color that were there, Black people and Latinos, had the opportunity to purchase the properties. Nobody taught them that they were supposed to. That's what happened. And they didn't do anything to get that knowledge. So now they're being gentrified out of the city. But sorry, I'm just kind of expounding on what Matt is saying here, just kind of showing you it's not all about credit. Sometimes it's just about being financially literate, and a lot of people aren't. So like I said, when a big company comes to your city, and if you're a renter, you better be afraid. Like, you better not be afraid, but just be aware. So in cities like that, yes, because rent is nuts out there. Yes, it is. Rent is ridiculously nuts. Like I said, I'm actually moving the hell out of LA, and we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, I'm cutting my expenses literally more than half, actually, by moving where I'm about to move. So I am all good there. Let's see. Okay, we'll love it until lights go out. Keep my air conditioning. And Matt, I think you're okay where you live. I mean, you're all good. Why the hell are we automatically included in low income? Maybe they should start there first before worrying about a credit reporting system. I agree, because I think with credit reporting, credit in general, if you think about what credit is like for your average person, credit is basically just a way for you to supplement your income. It shouldn't be that, but it is. That's what it is for a lot of people. And, I don't know. I just feel like low income people should not be using credit to begin with. But then when you think about like the statistics on how much people make, I think it's like 90% of US citizens or people in the US. I don't know who that even entails, but 90% of people make under, I think it was under 80,000 or something like that. And then like 50% make less than 50,000 or 30,000. It's some ridiculous number. So really, people that don't think they're low income, if I lived in, I don't know, let's just say maybe El Paso, Texas, I would definitely be in a higher income bracket than in Los Angeles, like here, or San Francisco. The area median income, I think in San Francisco is like $90,000. And then I think you're considered low at 111,000 in San Francisco. So it really does depend on where you live. So people are relocating too. And that's another thing that I think people need to consider, and Demos did not consider in their paper. The main thing that they didn't consider is that they're saying that you're getting denied credit because you're low income and because you're Black and because you're Hispanic. That's the main, if you read this and you have reading and comprehension skills, that is what they're saying. They're insulting us is what they're doing, low key. But the one thing they're not talking about is that credit a lot of times is based on your zip code. And that's something that a lot of YouTubers talk about. And for some reason, I don't know if it just goes over people's heads and they just don't believe it, but where you live does change the credit offers that you get, for sure, And aside from that, if you move around a lot, I would be a little skeptical of giving you credit too, because I don't know, maybe you'll skip out on your obligations. So yeah, sometimes your credit offers and credit limits and things like that are based on where you live. Because let's say if you were in, I don't know, Detroit, if you were a citizen or a resident of Detroit, why would a bank loan you $1 million? Why? Like, Detroit, you live in Detroit, you can't afford that. We already know. So again, based on your zip code, stop thinking race all the time. Sometimes it is just your zip code, and it just so happens that a ton of people of one color live in that place. You got to expand your mind sometimes. Don't focus on the race thing, because that's what this paper is based on, and it's ridiculous, and it's just playing on your emotions. That's all it's doing. So let me see. If you got to step, Matt, thank you, brother. Thank you. I said that in one of my Instagram little stories last year. I said, listen, if you got a stimulus check, yeah, the government is looking at you sideways, and you are one of the people that is probably going to get pushed into camp if we ever get to that point. So, I understand that myself, which is why I decided to start a business and do all kinds of stuff, because honestly, yeah, you are low income if you got a stimulus check. I know that burns a lot of people's soul and their heart. But when you look at what the government, considers low income, that's what it is. It's like if you didn't have a certain dollar amount on your tax return for your take home, that's why you got that stimulus check. So I would tell people, don't be going around flashing that stimulus money like it's a great thing. By you flashing that, you're basically telling everybody that you're just down there kind of with everybody else. Keep that shit to yourself. Don't tell people, just go invest it or something, man. Just be quiet about that. Lord. All right. Someone is getting paid. Always. Always. All right. Let's see. The US is approaching 30 trillion in debt. Is that a shocker? I mean, is that a shocker? Here's another question for you. When they were talking about moving this to a public credit reporting, who the hell is supposed to pay for all of this? Who is supposed to pay for this transition? Right? You know what I mean? So I'm like, wait. This isn't going to work, because if we're $30 trillion in debt, my assumption is that this is going to come out of taxpayers' dollars to fund this new credit reporting system to benefit the poor. That's what it's for. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? Welfare state. Hello. The public registry is not to help the people. It's just to keep track. See, I already knew with you and Brother Matt being up in here freely, y'all are going to get me off on a tangent. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh my God. All right. I'm going to humor you on that one, freely, because I agree 110%, because when I think about like I said, when I think about the direction that the country's going in, where, like I said, they're going to push the poor out of the cities, and they're going to push you out of the cities into more areas that are desolate. Even California has desolate areas where poor people are going. They don't talk about that, but there are places that they're being pushed out to. I do believe that this is a way to track people. I absolutely believe that 110%, because there's no reason that everybody has to have a profile in this registry. Because remember, this registry is going to tell people where you are, where you've lived, your bank account information, utilities, all kinds of stuff. That's more like, I don't know. Why do you have to know where I'm at, though? I don't understand why you need to know all of that. It's not going to help them, period. If you're low income, you need to do the inner work. Government ain't ever going to help. Basically, they're not going to help. Case in point, there's a reason a lot of people haven't had a job since last March. If the government was so helpful, I think those people would be gainfully employed by now and not still abusing the system. Yes, a lot of people are abusing the system. They know what you ate last year on the You know what, Matt? I have a funny story about that, because in my auditing work, it's so funny. I will tell you. Oh man, I'm telling y'all, low income people just move differently. So, and it does tie into some of this stuff that I'm talking about right now, because, okay, when I look at bank statements and stuff like that, even if it's a client, low key, I'm not kidding. Anytime somebody's looking at your bank, bank statements and stuff like that, there's a stark difference in how low income people spend their money versus how high income people spend their money. And it's so funny because when you say they know what you ate on your credit checks, I mean, I don't know. It just changes depending on your income level. Even when I used to do the Uber Eats a couple of years ago, I will tell you, when I was doing that so I could fund my business, what I saw was that when I delivered to certain parts of Los Angeles, they wanted fast food. They wanted French fries. They wanted burgers. They wanted all kinds of stupid stuff, right? Lower income people. When I delivered up in these beautiful hills over here, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, they were ordering green juice, green drinks, Sprouts, stuff that we look at and go, ugh, that's how they eat. So anyway, I don't know why I started talking about that. They're trying to take us all digital, no cash transactions. Absolutely. That is for sure. How to understand currency debt. Yep. Facts. 30 grand, you live comfy. Now, a lot of people would beg to differ, Matt, because according to the country, only New York and California and maybe Atlanta exist in the world, and Texas. 30 grand will not get you anything in those areas other than a couple of roommates, and a lot of debt, actually. That's what it'll get you. But again, like you said, or like I was saying before, it does depend on where you live. Let's see. Does banking and trade have $1 million? Hell no. Your average bank doesn't have $1 million. And that's another thing people have that's a misconception about banks. Banks don't have that much money on hand any given day because, one, they could get robbed. And then number two, there's a reason that your deposits are FDIC insured. People don't pay attention to this kind of stuff. Banks, basically, like, the money that they hold is just so they can shuffle it around for the loans that they give out. So y'all better look into some stuff. Do take some notes about banking and how it really works. Side note, who on here is getting, man, you trying to get this taken down. Don't do that. I'll give y'all 10 seconds to read what this young man, Brandon Hicks, put on here, and then you can answer in the chat if you haven't already. Feel free. If you know me personally, you already know. Please. If you make under 40 an hour in LA, is shit. Yes. Why do you think everybody around here is driving an Uber car, Lyft, delivering food? Everybody in LA has a side hustle. If they don't have a side hustle, it's basically because they're in a very low income area, probably getting government assistance. They're collecting that unemployment still. But yes, under $40 an hour. Yeah. And even at $40 an hour, it's still shaky for you because your typical person that makes $40 and above here in this part of town I live in, they have a car note, they're paying rent. They definitely have debt. They're definitely trying to keep up with the Joneses and buy clothes, shoes, all kinds of stuff. And entertainment here is coming back finally. And I can see people are itching to spend their money, even people that don't have money. I was driving up Sunset Boulevard today and Hollywood Boulevard in the middle of the day today. I saw half the people not wearing masks. And I also saw a ton of people clamoring to get into restaurants, or not get into, but sit outside of restaurants. So no matter what income bracket they're in, people are itching to spend money right now. And I people can deny that all they want, but it's true. I can see it. I'm here. I live here. So it's a script from Idiocracy. We're living it. Is Idiocracy a movie or something? It sounds familiar. We sheep and cattle. Yeah, that's true. True. Dang, Matt. You know what? I'll probably have to have you come on one night. We could do like a split screen and talk about all this stuff. Listen, Matt, I will tell you, I'm going to jump back into this paper, you guys, too. I'm just kind of talking with my people here. But cell phones, you go anywhere without it, your car tracked. Funny story. I did not have my phone on for the last 24, little bit over 24 hours. People get straight offended when you turn your phone off. I don't have to have my cell phone on. And I noticed in the first hour or two that I didn't have my cell phone on me, like I took it and put it in the car, locked it up. I was starting to feel antsy. And then I really had to sit there and get quiet and realize, why the hell do I care that I don't have my cell phone on me right now? Like, I'm telling you, it's crazy. But you're right. They track everything. You're absolutely right. And it is okay to unplug sometimes and tell people that you're going to do it. Just try it for yourself for a little bit. So is it true? I don't know if that's true, man. Well, there you go. What? Oh, Lord, which comments did I skip? It ain't nothing but Matt and Freely talking, going back and forth here. All right. Anyway, y'all are crazy. Can we stop the talk about the V word? The vaccine. Yeah, people are broke as fuck in LA. Yes, they are. Oh, I don't know if I can say that word on here. But yeah, people are definitely broke in LA. I can attest to that. I can tell you that In the place I live, a lot of people here have roommates or they live with their significant other, whether it's a husband, wife, boyfriend, or girlfriend. A lot of people here do live with somebody. And I do think living with people in that communal type style, a lot of people try to say, oh, it's to save money. No, it's because you don't have enough money. That's what it is. You don't have enough to live on your own. Be real about it. It's okay. Call a spade, because that's the first, the first step in getting better in the financial situation. So, all right, now we're at the end of them. So if I missed your comment, maybe just say it again. Oh God, I did. I skipped a whole bunch. They don't need money in the vault. When banks make loans on cars or houses, when you sign that promise to pay, your signature creates that debt and interest rate. Yep. Very true. Yep. Again, like I said, a lot of people tend to just sign the dotted line, but not really try to consider what the banking industry is and really what credit is in general. Because I mean, it really is a whole lot of nothing. It's just where does credit actually exist? Like it's just this ethereal thing, but we, because everybody agrees that it matters and that it means something, it exists. And that's why my company exists. So there you go. Let's see. Texas is opening back up. So glad I'm here. I thought you guys were totally open already. It's all over the news, dude. I mean, it's fantastic. I am beyond elated. And we'll talk about that sometime offline. But yeah. Okay. Anyway, I want to jump back into this paper real quick, y'all, because I want to just kind of talk about some of these other things that are going on. And thank you guys so much for participating. I love that you guys are doing this. This is great. Okay. Now, like I said, we left off on making credit available based on rental history, bank accounts, income records, utility records, all of which are not going to benefit poor people. We've already gotten past that. If you want to argue it, let me know. All right. Now, the other thing that Demos wants to do is they want to change the statute of limitations for the amount of time that credit history can affect you and how long it gets reported. They want to change it, I believe, from 7 years to 4 years. So here's the interesting thing that I want you to consider. And these are all aspects I have to consider because I have a credit restoration company. So I have to consider all of these possibilities, right? Let's say I'm here in California. So let's say that, on a federal level, they're making it so, actually, no, I think the demo said 7 years, but I think it's maybe 4 years for, yeah, I got that mixed up. It's 4 years for how long it takes to get the information over. So, all right, let's say credit bureaus, right? Credit agencies. The credit reporting agency keeps your data on file for 7 years, right? A lot of people get these things confused. How long something can report has nothing to do with how long you can be sued for it. And y'all tend to forget that. And I'm here to bring you back down from the clouds. Okay. So let's say, as an example, let's say Demos did say, okay, well, once it's 4 years old, it has to come off your credit report. That's all fine and dandy. But you guys forget that there's an underbelly to all of this. These reporting agencies are just places that give data. So let's say that you have a collection account. We'll say the state of California. If you have one in the state of California, you can be sued for up to 4 years. So let's say Demos did make it to where, okay, it'll fall off your credit report in 4 years as an example. Well, depending on what state you're in, there's some states where they can sue you for up to like 6 or 7 years. So it'll come off your report in this credit reporting registry that's public. However, it still doesn't mean that you're not going to get sued because you're still in the statute of limitations for being sued. So like I said, I'm just seeing too many holes here. Even if you change the statute of limitations on a federal level, state is usually where it's at and who dictates what actually happens. An example of this could be, they can say something is legal or illegal on the federal level. Let's talk about marijuana. Let's talk about legal marijuana, right? They say that on a federal level, marijuana is illegal, right? It's still a Schedule I narcotic, I think. On the state level, though, here in California, you could smoke it up. There's a dispensary everywhere out here. That goes to show you what happens in your state and your local government is what takes precedence. Do not let Demos convince you that just because they say it has to come off your report, you are liable for your state's statute of limitations for getting sued. So getting sued, having it removed, two different things, two different two different statutes that we're talking about. I hope I'm making that clear, because I know I'm not going to front. I understand. I tend to talk in circles, but I hope that made sense. If it's 7 years on a federal level and the state says, well, out of 4 of those 7, you can get sued, you're still getting sued. I don't care what the public registry says. Another thing that I want you guys to consider here too is that, let's say that, I'm trying to think of how to put it. I guess I did just kind of explain it. If it comes off of your credit report, it doesn't matter. Like, I could remove negative child support off of your credit report. So let's say we do that, right? We're able to take off that child support, that back child support, that negative hit that you got. Your wages are still going to get garnished, dude, if you don't pay the child support. It doesn't matter if we remove it or not. You still owe the damn debt. That's the thing you need to understand. So there's a lot of ways that that employers and all kinds of stuff can still deny you, regardless of what's in the public registry. And that's the part that Demos is not talking about. And that's the part that I know, because I do auditing for HUD. Oh man, it's so stupid here. But anyway, so I don't know how they're going to level the playing field there. But like I said, as far as like how low income people operate, this isn't going to help them. I understand they think it will, but low income people fly off under the radar anyway. So they're going to be able to avoid this public registry system. We talked about credit based on zip codes already. Let's see. This one I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit, because it might ruffle feathers, but I'm not too sure. So I wanted to talk about how the other thing that this paper is proposing is that it eliminates the use of your credit report to qualify you for things not related to credit. So they don't want your credit report to be used to be considered for your employment. They don't want it to be considered for car and health insurance, housing, things like that. Humor me here. Is it not true on some level that how you handle your finances says a lot about who you are as a person? I think that that's part of the reason that it's considered when it comes to employment, housing, insurance, and things like that. Let's talk about health insurance real quick. If I run your credit report, and I'm going to tell you why this is necessary to have your stuff reported like this. I don't know where I left off on the comments here, but this is real game. I wish more people were here right now, because this right here, you guys don't think about this kind of stuff. And it's like, I get paid to think outside the box. But all right, so let's say health insurance, right? One, you might be in a terrible zip code where people just die daily. Hello, Chicago. I would imagine health insurance is probably very expensive there because of the, zip code. But on the other hand, if I see that you have a ton of medical collections on your credit report, as a health insurance company, 2 things are coming to my mind. One, this person's going to be super damn expensive to insure. You are high risk because you have a ton of medical debt already, which means you're going to be filing a crap load of claims, which means you are going to be a liability to me now. On the other hand, I could charge you some insanely high rates based on your history. You're in the hospital a lot, yeah, we could probably make a lot of money from you. I don't know. So I can see why medical could be considered as far as denying you or qualifying you for health insurance, because it does tell a story about, it tells a partial story about who you might be and how you operate. Are you healthy? And then when you have bills, do you pay them? Right. So I think that that's something that a lot of people don't consider with medical. It's not always just about, it shouldn't be there. It's HIPAA and blah, 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 blah. When you look at your credit report, the doctor is not listed on your credit report 9 times out of 10. So I'm not sure where people are getting the HIPAA violation thing from. As long as the information's not on there, as far as the billing and all that, it's not really a violation. So I'm not sure, where that comes from. Okay. So anyway, you'd be more expensive to insure. When it comes to the credit registry, again, I think it's not going to help as far as car insurance goes. Because again, your car insurance is based on your driving history, but then it's also based on where you live. Like I'm in Los Angeles and car insurance is really expensive here. So expensive. I'm assuming because obviously it's a city. There's a lot of car break-ins. There's a lot of uh, honestly, well, not so much anymore, but there's a lot of traffic here. A lot of people get hit. A lot of people get sideswiped. One of my cars, I only have one car now, but I had two cars a while ago. And one of my cars, I used to park it on the street and it got sideswiped. So I wasn't driving it or anything. It was just my car was sitting there minding its own business. Got sideswiped, within the first month of me having my new car, somebody tapped me on the back. How does that even happen? We're at a damn red light. How does that happen? So little stupid stuff like that happens in the city. So yeah, when it comes to car insurance, again, like I said, I think it would only work if they're looking at your zip code. So maybe that doesn't need to be on there. I'm not really sure. I don't know. But child support. All right, this one it might make some people upset because I can see we got some men in the chat here. Now, as far as child support goes, I don't know, it's kind of twofold there. Because if you don't pay your child support and I'm an employer and I'm looking at your credit report, you not paying child support tells me you may have some issues with responsibility. It tells me also that you don't honor responsibilities. Now, some people do have feelings about child support, but I mean, the only reason they can pursue you is because you put your name on that birth certificate. So we're not going to go beyond that. Okay. It's not going to be a big argument about that. But like I said, if you don't pay something like, uh-oh, am I back? Am I back, guys? I don't think the stream liked me saying child support. Can you guys tell me if you can see me? If you can see me or hear me, what do they say? Can you put like a 1 in the chat or something? Is that what they say? Put a 1 in the chat. Oh my God. But yes. Okay. So what I was trying to say is that your credit report tells people who you are as a person with the child support thing. Can you be trusted? Okay, let's talk about that. And then the other thing is that they don't want your credit report to be used for employment. We talked about the child support thing, but here's another thing to consider. Your financial issues, your debt, all of that stuff is considered in certain jobs. It has to be. Namely, one of them is any government job, obviously, military, all of that. Like if you have bad credit and if you have a lot of debt and you have a lot of obligations you're not paying, yes, you are going to either get fired or your clearances are going to be removed. Here's a little something extra for you. Every single year, I have to take a Department of Defense training. And do you know, in one of those modules, they actually say that you are a high risk and they should be, you're actually somebody that they should be suspicious of if you have a lot of debt, if you have a lot of financial obligations, all kinds of stuff. You are actually considered a security risk. Like they have these little, like I said, they have modules where you have to decide who out of these 4 people scenarios are most likely to, what's that thing? Espionage and all that kind of stuff. You have to look at these people and say, okay, based on their circumstances, is this person likely to sell secrets? Is this person likely to, gather information and then sell it and create some kind of racket? Yeah, it's always the guy with the debt. If you pick anybody else in that module, you lose. Okay. And I have a feeling if you keep, not picking the right person, they look at you a little sideways too. So, this is all the way up in Department of Defense training. So using your credit report for employment, that ain't going nowhere. I know you guys think it will, but it ain't going nowhere because it says a lot about who you are, so much about who you are. You know what I'm saying? So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, wait, what's he saying? Oh God, what's going on? Oh, I saw it says sounds awful. Is it the audio or were you talking about something else? That was a long time ago. Oh, and yeah, guys, hit the like button if you haven't already. I can't see who's liking it and who's not, just so you know. But it would be nice if you did that. Rent is nuts out there. Do you mean in LA? It definitely is. Buy a house. Yep. Or some land. You know what our guy Jesse says, buy some land. You know? Let's see. Da, 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 da. All right, I'm probably gonna skip some of you guys, and I'm so sorry. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. I don't know what that was about, to be honest with you. Him buying up all that land, super suspicious, bro. I don't know what that's about. Mm-hmm. Migration has started. I will tell you, with our I would say a lot of the people that I know and that we know mutually, Matt, everybody's planning their exodus, whether they're saying it or not. A lot of us are wising up, and we know California ain't where it's at. If you haven't established yourself here, you're going to have a hard ass time getting that done. I don't care what the internet tells you. Okay. I don't care. You're going to have a hard time. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's go down. I think I saw these already. The only time a needle's touching me is when I get a tattoo. Hello. Hello. The car payments, perpetual renting, most people are average because they do average stuff. Oh, my lordy lord. That is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Mm-hmm. To understand all this is a great read is The Creature from Jekyll Island. I will have to come back to this and look at that again. That would be cool to read something. You got a checkbook. The line you sign your name on is not a line. It's microprinting. Can you expound on that, brother Matt? Can you tell us what you mean by that? And yes, he's right. He's right. And I'll tell you, I don't know everything about everything, but I know a little bit about a lot. And this was some straight game up in this live tonight. So we're under maritime law. Just like when a ship comes into port, they give a birth certificate. They're bringing in business just like we are. Mm-hmm. You know, I was going to look into maritime law once, and then I got bored. But again, the boring stuff is how they get you to not pay attention to it because they make it boring. Birth certificates are traded on Wall Street on the speculation of how much revenue your straw man will produce in its lifespan. Now you know why the old are are at risk of crazy governors. Is there a crazy governor that you're referring to there? Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. You can still document a birth in a family Bible. It's still accepted in your passport application. I've never heard of a family Bible. What's that? I don't think a lot of people have family Bibles because of all of the single parent homes, but sounds like a good idea. Hold on, guys. I think, give me 1 second, y'all. Don't go nowhere. Stay here. Okay, I'm back. All right, let's see. If you knew what your social security number was really for, tell us, brother Matt, what is it for? If you haven't told us already, tell us what it's for. I actually know somebody that did a home birth. They had their baby in their own bed, actually. She said it was not easy, but she's very glad that she did it. And this girl, I think she might have just turned 30. So there's definitely a lot of people that are in a certain age group that you'd be surprised are going back to old school ways of doing things. So, I'm gonna get that book. A bank account number. I've found 3 bank accounts with my SS as the account. What? Freely? Are you serious, bro? That's freaking crazy. I get paid child support. Thanks. Ooh, Matt. Now, you know, if there's a woman paying a man child support, there's always a story there. And I would be so curious to know what that damn story was. Anytime a man's getting paid child support, I automatically side eye the mama. I'm sorry. Man. Whew. That's deep. That's deep. Mm-hmm. Now, you know I ain't saying that on a dang live stream, brother. Can't tell y'all that. It says authorized signature. You mean on the line of the check? I just had a checkbook out a minute ago, too. I will definitely do that. A birth registry from way back. No, there's not a lot of perks here because I was just in Beverly Hills earlier today, actually. And I was talking to one of the ladies at a business out there, and I was, asking her how the neighborhood's changed and all that kind of stuff. And she didn't sound too positive about where she thinks the business is going, because even in Beverly Hills, things are closing down. So I think that says a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. I think wealthy people are honestly just spending their money more wisely. Poor people will just do what poor people do. We are all property of the government. Our SSN plus the red number on the back of your social security card tells how much you're. Whoa, that's deep. So wait, how? Okay, wait, extreme. Now we got to talk about this. How can you explain that a little bit more? That is crazy. So how is it that it tells how much you're worth? What does that even mean? What does that mean? I want to know more about that. I'm in the military. You're right on that point. High risk if you have lots of debt because you might. Exactly. Extreme, a family member of mine, I'm not going to say who it was, but actually two people that I know in my family got put on blast about that because they told them, they said, hey, you need to handle your debt, not get it erased. You need to show proof that you paid this debt because XYZ, you will lose your security clearance. You are so right. And actually, somebody that I know actually got released from their government job that they obtained from being in the military. They got let go because their employer found back child support. That sucked, bro, because that guy had that job for years. And I mean years, okay? So much so he picked up and left California after that happened. It's insane, man. Low income reporting rent is reporting debt. So why would the thank you. Thank you. You feel me now. That's what I'm talking about right there. Okay. So when we talk about the credit reporting going public and having the scoring algorithms and eliminating the big three, like I said, I have a couple questions. I want to know what's going to happen to the big three. We talked about that. Are they going to be fired? Who's going to fund this? Again, I already told y'all who I think it is. Can the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau be trusted? I don't know. How are they going to hire these people that are going to man this entire new system? That Demos didn't talk about that at all. And then again, what happens to FICO? What happens to the Vantage scoring? They didn't talk about that either. And then again, who's going to put all of this together? Would you trust the Biden administration or their counterparts or anybody for that matter to put this new system together? Do we trust people that much? Do we? I don't know. I don't know. And the only reason I doubt this is because of who came up with this paper, which is Demos. They didn't think this through very much at all. But as far as algorithms go, they're doing it for the sake of transparency. I appreciate that. I think that that's the best thing that is going to come out of this this change that they're doing, is that it is going to be a little bit of a more transparent system. And if anything, it's going to be a even easier way to lump the poor with the poor, push them over to the side, because if your credit invisible, you're really going to have a hard way to go. And you're going to have to be around the people that are just like you. I'm sorry, that is how it's going to be. And then I highlighted a few things in the paper. I'm gonna just go through them real quick and I'm gonna get the hell up out of here because it is Saturday. Okay. Let's see here. They talked about some accountability stuff, but that happens now. I mean, really, credit reporting agencies bank on the fact that you're not going to dispute anything. That's really how they keep making money. So I think it's going to be the same in the public registry. They're saying in that system that they're going to demand accuracy. How are they going to demand accuracy, though? The credit bureaus that stand now accuracy. And honestly, the government doesn't verify accuracy. I had a lady's file I was looking at the other day. And when people come from Latin American countries, they have different birth dates. This lady was somehow able to get a certificate of naturalization that had one birth date on it. She was able to get a driver's license that had another birth date on it. And then she brought the actual birth certificate from her native country that had a different birth date on it. Who the hell's verifying? How did she get through all of those government agencies and get her documentation showing two different birth dates? How did she get that? Nobody even called that to question until I saw the information. And I was like, has anybody asked about this ever? Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. I trust the public system, y'all. I trust them. Yeah. So anyway, stuff like that can happen. I don't trust a public organization to be able to, I don't know. I just don't. I think the accuracy is not going to happen. Appropriateness. We talked about that. That's the housing, insurance, all that good stuff. Again, I do think credit should be used for housing because again, I want to know what zip code you're coming from. I want to know, did you move from place to place? If you are a person that moves every year, you're probably not somebody that I want to rent to because rent is all about money. And I don't want people in my place that are going to leave. Okay. So I do think that it is okay to use credit when it comes to housing. The other thing is, again, evictions are going to be on your credit report. I think that's totally okay. Demos is wrong about that. If they think that shouldn't be on there, again, when I look at the platform that Demos supports, it is a party of people that don't want accountability. And it's riddled all through this paper. Like I said, I can't go through all 36 pages, but when you read it, you're going to see this is the party of no accountability. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to get too political here. But it's very much, you can make mistakes and nobody's going to penalize you for them. You can do what you want. It's a free for all. They talk about some security stuff. I think that's cool. Because I do think data should be secure. But what they want to do is they want to make your credit report frozen until you unfreeze it so someone can run your credit. It's really stupid. Like I said, when I thought about it, I'm like, no, that's dumb. Why would you have it frozen? And then public awareness, they talk a little bit about that. Credit rehabilitation services. Okay, this I wanted to tell you how it's going to change the credit reporting industry or credit repair industry a little bit. And then don't worry, guys, I'm going to close out pretty soon here. But public awareness, what they want to do too is they want to have a big push for letting people know that there are resources for them to fix their credit. And they want the CFPB to do this. I don't understand, again, how they're going to do that how they're going to improve upon that because they do it now. It's just your average consumer doesn't go to the CFPB website. It's all there. They tell you how to pay your debt. They tell you that there's nonprofits that will help you repair your credit. They have all kinds of resources there. But again, nobody likes to learn anything. So how is this registry going to change any of that? What they also want to do is they do want to make a push into having credit repair companies be nonprofits. That's okay. I was talking about it at church last week, and I know it caught some people's ears when I told them that credit repair was illegal in the state of Georgia. Well, it is, unless you're a nonprofit. I'm not a nonprofit, so I'm never going to do business there until I become one. So, I understand that. And really, credit repair is free. It really is free. It's what you're paying for is for someone else to do the work. That's the part that a lot of people miss. You're paying a credit repair company to do the work. You're paying us to go read the stuff that you don't want to read. You're tuning into this video because you don't want to go and look at the demos paper. That's why you're tuned into this video. So I don't think credit repair is going anywhere. I really don't. And if they want us to change to nonprofits, whatever, it's cool. And then lastly, ensure fairness in bankruptcy. There's a lot more stuff, but I'm going to stop here. They want to ensure fairness in bankruptcy, meaning that, you get a fresh start. There's no history of your bankruptcy at all. They also want to allow you to discharge student loans in your bankruptcy. You think that's going to happen with the federal student loan? Good luck. Good luck getting the federal government to agree with that. whatever. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. We talked about most of the stuff that's in here. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I have any more notes on this, you guys, but like I said, I don't think that there's enough of a solution here. I don't think there's many resolutions in this paper either. Like I said, I think it's just basically slapping some people on the wrists for getting into debt, which I don't agree with. And it really doesn't promote accountability. Like I said, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but if you read it and then come back, maybe leave a comment or something, that would be really, really great. Let's see, I'm going to close out. I'm going to check out some of your comments and then I'm going to get up out of here. Matrix coming down, red or blue pill. Who are you? What side are you on? If you look at page 2 in the DS-11 form, which is the passport application, it says you can use early census, school, medical, or Oh, gotcha. You know what? Yeah, when I do the qualification stuff for the HUD housing, they do, I don't know if it says family Bible records, but it's like they let you do the whatever those Catholics do and stuff, the birth record for the religion stuff. So I guess that's kind of the same thing. South Central is horrible ×2 because the pandemic. Don't be passing through there. The true light. Do you live in LA? Because I will tell you, I am of the belief that South Central does not exist. South Central is a construct created by the man. Okay. There is no South Central Los Angeles. You have West LA and maybe South LA. I don't know what South Central is. Can you tell me where South Central is located? Because I don't believe in South Central. Because I don't know, too many ideas come to mind when you say it. So that's why I'm like, nah, I don't agree with that mess. I don't agree. Then again, I live in LA, but they call it Hollywood. There really is no Hollywood. It's Los Angeles. So, you know. All right, let's see. Where are we? Not manned, it's computers, AI possible. Everything's AI, man. Everything's AI. Just got to use it to your advantage. Hey, girl. Hey. All right, let's see. Try these 2 routing number. Oh, Lord, bro. What are you doing? Do I have to block this off the channel? What are you? This better not be illegal, Freely. Bro. That's crazy and scary. They just talk out their necks, blowing smoke. Pretty much. I mean, if you're talking about demos, hell yeah, they're talking out of their butts because, like I said, they aren't even. A lot of times, these people that put these papers and things together in these proposals, it's scary because this is gonna gain steam. I guarantee you. Because if I'm talking about it, it means that it's obviously swirling around the credit world. So some parts of this are going to happen. I want y'all to understand that it is going to happen. You just got to figure out how you're going to get your information squared away before this happens. Because in this big data transfer that's about to happen, a lot of information is going to get dropped. A lot of people are going to have to start fresh. A lot of people are going to lose their data. A lot of people are going to become credit invisible that probably had a super long profile. So again, they're not addressing all of that stuff that's going to happen. Anytime humans and computers are involved, there's a ton of room for error. So I know for a fact this is not going to go smoothly. I think it's very interesting. They want to do this over a 7-year period. Sounds like they're going to try to do this during 2 terms of presidency. So could be wrong, but we'll see how that goes down. I don't agree with everything they're talking about because, again, it just removes accountability. And credit in and of itself is a tool that if it's used responsibly, it can get you so many things in this life if you understand how to leverage what you have. Credit is not for people with low income. If you have low income, you really are supposed to work credit in a different way. You have to finance your own journey until you can be trusted with other people's money. Okay. Just because you start low income doesn't mean you have to stay there. I don't think coddling you and putting you into a public registry and using different methods to approve you is going to help. I just don't, and if you missed the beginning of this, I was all over the place, but I really go into why I think that's the case. Low income people just move differently, and this is not going to help them at all. at all. You can't be under the radar and have, you know, this system help you. It's just not going to work. Not going to work. I see this, but I didn't want to read it. Thank you for reading it. We did our taxes last week, and I'm still recovering. Why, you had a big tax bill? That's the other thing. Y'all better stop playing that tax game too, with a whole bunch of write-offs and stuff. You'll never qualify for a house if you do that. You know, Matt, we already know you got your palace in the place you live, which is magnificent. But a lot of people are playing that game because they're only thinking in the moment right now. Pay your damn taxes, all right? And don't write off everything, because you're not going to have any income and you're not going to qualify for a damn thing. So near South LA. I mean, you don't hear people that go to USC saying that they go to school in South Central LA. USC is smack dab in the middle of the hood. But if you try to tell people that, they look at you cross-eyed. It's like, no, it's in the middle of the hood. It's people running around over there without their pants on, rolling around in the street, scooting in wheelchairs, tents, all kind of stuff. But it's USC. So they'll never say it's in South Central. Therefore, South Central to me doesn't exist, because if it doesn't exist to them, it don't exist to me. Why does it only exist to Blacks and Hispanics? I hate that. It's not fair. It's not right. We just need to read more and educate ourselves. Yes. And everybody been home for like a year. Y'all got nothing to do but read. You know what I mean? It's like, we have nothing to do but read. Yeah, Extreme is kicking game. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all need to go on and get on camera with me one night and we'll chop it up. For sure. And Extreme always comes through. Thank you for that, Extreme. I appreciate that. I'm hoping this channel grows. It seems like it is growing. I'm getting new subs every day. So that part's really cool. I heard they're going to blockchain information on credit report, making it harder to remove. Is it true? I will tell you this, credit repair is getting tougher. And that's why I said in my last video that what we do is, at this point, if something doesn't come off, because like we get things to come off, that's the whole thing. But what you have to understand, like as a consumer, you have to make the decision before you go into credit repair. Am I willing to pay some of these things off with the condition that they'll delete it? Or am I going to maybe restructure some of my debt so it appears differently on my credit report? You know, and in that case, like if you have student loans and stuff like that, my company no longer does student loan stuff. The only thing I'm going to do for you is tell you, hey, we can dispute it if there's something inaccurate on there, but you also need to know you still owe this debt. So it's better for you to just restructure how it looks. Do a repayment agreement based on your income, whatever. You know what I mean? Just do that. It's all good, man. Oh, but yeah, it is harder. Credit repair is, like I said, things are harder to remove because, like I said, the Bureau doesn't want to mess with their payday. And then a lot of people don't know they have an e-Oscar system. And I forget what the acronym stands for, but let's say Collection Agency 1 gives them inaccurate data, right? When they give them your information, it's already incorrect. So they put it into the e-Oscar system incorrectly. So then when we go in and we dispute it, we say, hey, this is actually inaccurate. What the credit bureau does is they look at the information that's already in their e-Oscar system. That's their verification that they're using. So whatever you tell them, they're going to say, no, it's already in our system. It's accurate. Right. But they don't tell you how they got that initial inaccurate information. It's a vicious cycle that you go through. And that's why I said, I think I said it in my last video, we do 4 rounds. And at the end of that 4 rounds, you then as the consumer have to decide, are you going to take all that data and go to an attorney, or are you just going to drop it? What are you going to do? Because that's what credit repair is getting to right now. You're going to have to start deciding if you want to file a lawsuit at the end of the day, because they are making it harder. But the thing is, they know they're wrong and they're still saying that they're right. That's how you get a good case. You're going to get it. You're going to be able to win in court regardless. The question is, do you want to go to court? That's the question. So credit repair is getting harder in that respect. It's now back on the consumer. It's as far as what you want to do at the end. That's what it is. All right. She is so smart. Search until we take our last breath. Search for what? Hey. Tell her I said, what is up? And she is killing it with her photography right now. If she can hear me, wow, Kim, amazing. Like in such a short amount of time, it has completely done like a 180 or whatever. And it's like, it's so creative. Oh my God. I love, love, love the work that she does. The photography stuff is awesome. It really is. So anyway, guys, I didn't talk about every single thing that was in this paper, but we're approaching an hour and a half, and I was clowning somebody for being on lives for like hours the other day. So I can't be clowning and then be doing the same thing. So you know, gotta stay true. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I've gotten that before. But I get a lot of people, honestly. I won't go too far up into that, but if you look like me and there's somebody in the industry that looks like me, meaning the Hollywood industry, all Black people look the same. So I hate to say that, but that's what a lot of people think. So anyway, but you guys, if there's another topic that you want to hear about, I have some other stuff that I want to talk about, but I'm going to try not to go on so long. Y'all just be listening to me babble. Anyway, this is your credit solutionist. Let me know in the comments what you think about demos. Please read the paper, you guys. I'll put a link to it in the description or something, so you can go and read it. And I think I am going to do a part 2 to this because I only talked about the first half of the paper. I didn't even go into the rest of it. But it's just about everything that you probably think is happening. So again, I wish that this was a nonpartisan thing, but it seems like, you know, a certain party is going to take control of credit, the credit reporting industry, which is unfortunate. So it's going to be an interesting next 7 years. Yeah, that's all I can say, but I'm here for it. PX Credit Solutions ain't going nowhere. So, I mean, we're here. Anyway, thank you guys so much for stopping by. And how do we have new comments? What are y'all doing? Matt, all Black people look the same, and Janet is Black. Okay, so I'll take it. Matt just goes, basically. You guys are funny. Oh man, y'all are. I love it though. Oh my gosh, I love it. And you know, I don't even know if I'm going to church tomorrow, but you will know if I'm there, Matt and Freely, because I get picked on a lot up in there. So y'all be sure to tune in. You know, I'm gonna be there. Anyway, I will see you guys, I guess, on the next one. I don't know exactly when I'm going to be on again, but yeah, like I said, read the paper, see what you want to do. And maybe I'll come on in the next few days and talk about the second part of the paper. And yeah, we'll chop it up. Anyway, I hope to go live a lot more. So if there's a topic you want to hear about, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to go on and continue my Saturday and go watch some TV or something. Anyway, I'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks again for checking it out. Credit Solutionist out.